What's going on, everyone? So today I'm gonna go over the 5 things about my truck that I don't necessarily hate. It's just that the areas needed improvement, and for me, these are the top 5. The truck overall, I love it. I mean, it's a great truck. Right now with the way the market is and all that, I still think it has a really great value to it. It probably holds the value that I bought it for about a year ago. I don't say it went up in value, but nonetheless, let's just dive right into it. So the first thing that annoys me about this truck is this infotainment system. And this infotainment system doesn't, it's good. Overall, it's a good system. But there's 2 things about it that annoy me, and I'm going to count these 2 things as one. So number 1, this doesn't have Apple CarPlay or Android Autoplay. For whatever reason, in 2016, this doesn't come with Apple or Android Autoplay. You got the auxiliary cord, you got the USB, you got the SD card, which are right here inside of the center console. This is where you'll plug in. But this car, or this truck, doesn't have it. And then the second thing about this, well, going back to that, there is a way to fix it. And my buddy that has the 2018 version of this truck, which is, it's the same generation as this truck. So from 16 to 18, this is the truck you get. In 19, they did the facelift and redo. And in 15, it was the second generation, or the first generation of the 4th gen, right? So it's weird how these auto manufacturers do this. But his 18 has
message from Cameron Bayless.
Sorry. His 18 has Apple and Android Autoplay. Now, for this, you can do it. It's a $500 box. It's about the size of this. And you have to take this all apart, pull it out, plug it in, and then the USB that's under here will work for the Apple and Android Autoplay. For whatever reason, in 2016, which is this year, the truck doesn't come with it. Now, the second annoying thing about this head unit is, see this right here? It says apps with the line and circle through it saying it's not working. Well, this is an interesting thing. That is like your infotainment system where you can download apps and have all sorts of different things, and the truck can have Wi-Fi, and it also allows the truck to text. So like you just saw a text pop up, I used to be able to hit reply and then speak to the truck, and then it would send the message out. Well, Ram has shut this down, or Chrysler shut this down, and this is why. This is the older generation. The 19s, they got the new generation. This was based on a 3G system. Well, now they're on a 4G system, and they do have a fix for it, which I so happen to have one, which is this right here. This plugs into your OBD2 port, and then this allows this to work. But now you have this thing sticking out such like this, and it doesn't really work that well. I had it plugged in for a couple months. I bought the Wi-Fi package. It just doesn't really work, and it's annoying because there's no upgrade or software upgrade to this unit that you can do. You have to buy a whole new unit, so, or get one of these, which I paid $100 for plus a year's subscription. So this head unit now is out of date, doesn't have Apple CarPlay, and I cannot call or I cannot text from it or get the Wi-Fi from it. So that's one thing that I don't like about the truck. That's an A-B thing. Alright, so the second thing I don't like about the truck is this locking system. The unlock system works great. You can put your hand on the front of it and it'll unlock, or you can put around it and it'll lock or unlock. But Fords have like a pad, like a touch pad here. This is an actual button, and you gotta press the button, which I don't mind pressing a button. The problem is that there'll be sometimes you'll be out here just pressing, and the door won't lock. It would actually keep unlocking, and like it gets all confused, so you have to, eventually just give up and press the button on your key fob. But it is annoying when you have a lot of things in your hands and you just want to press the button and get it to lock. I'm not gonna lie, I sat here for like 5 minutes, tried to recreate it, and it didn't happen. So it is a infrequent thing for it to happen, but nonetheless it happens. On the same note, the third thing that I don't like about this truck, and this is such a weird one. I actually had to look this up to see if like this was true or not, and it is a true thing, and it is an easy fix, but it's just a weird thing to happen. And it's with this auto up down buttons for the front windows. Sometimes you'll be sitting there and you'll press the button, and then when you know it's got a double click, that like that's you controlling it, and then you click it again and it goes all the way down, right? No, nothing fancy. Well, you can sometimes double press it down and the window won't automatically roll down, and then you have to do it again, and it just goes when you press the button. Then go to auto up, same thing, it'll only go up when you're holding the button. Now the way to fix it is that the window forgets to do what it needs to do, so therefore you have to hold the button all the way up until the window goes all the way up and stops, then hold it for 5 seconds, and then it relearns on how to operate its own button so that the auto feature works again. It's a really weird thing that I thought, you know, $68,000 truck, right? That's how much this thing was brand new. And you have to teach the window like once a month on how to go up and down. That's such a weird like programming concept thing to me that whatever, you know, right? It's a Chrysler product at the end of the day, even though it's a Ram. But that's just such a weird little quirk. Now the fourth thing that I don't really like about this truck, and it's something that is kind of hard to get by and get over. So I just turned the truck on, and you'll see that I say push to start and all that, and see the flashing light here? Well, that's my TPMS, or TP, and it's gonna say this, so it's gonna say Perform Service Tire Pressure System, TPS. Well, for those who don't know, this truck sits on 37s, and the original truck from the manufacturer does not come with 37s. So it comes with stock tires. Well, stock tires run anywhere from, I think it's 60 in the front and 80 in the rear, PSI. Well, these tires obviously can't hold that much pressure due to the volume. The max pressure setting on these tires is 45. Well, there's no way to get that light off because Ram sets the parameters of this tire gauge or tire system that if you're within if you're out of 10% of tolerance, it turns on the light. These tires at pumped up maximum PSI would always keep that light on. Now there is two ways to get around it. One of them being you have to like get a tire pressure gauge like programmer, and you have to figure out the 4-pin system with the truck and go through all these steps and basically reprogram the whole thing and tell it a different set of parameters. And you know, you're looking at, I looked at the systems, and maybe somebody knows how to do this cheaper, and if you do, please write that in the comment. But it was like $1,000 just to buy this programmer to reprogram the whole system and tell it that it can work in different parameters. The second way to do it is also with the tuner, and it's actually called the Race Me Ultra Tuner, and it comes with a tire pressure gauge sensor readjuster in it, and that's a $1,200 tuner. The tuner does other things, like it's a delete tuner that also has a transmission tuner and a tire pressure gauge tuner. If somebody out there has that tuner on a 16, 17, or 18 model, please let me know and see if that actually works well, because I'm curious to see. But that light will always be on. It's been on since I've owned this truck, because there is no way of turning it off without resetting the parameters. Now I don't have tire pressure monitors in the tires. They didn't come with the truck, and I actually went to go put them in, and the dealer was like, we could put them in, but your light's still going to be on just because we can't reprogram it. And like, dealerships can't reprogram it. You have to do this third party, you know, hacker style, which again, that's annoying, because like I just want to have my tire light off, but it is what it is, right? And final thing that annoys the hell out of me on this truck, this is my biggest pet peeve, is doing your own maintenance. Now I'm actually underneath the truck right now, and there's two things that irritates me, and this is gonna be part A, part B on this one. It's the fuel filters and the oil filters. So the fuel filter for the engine, so there's one underneath the chassis that's pretty easy to get to, and that's not a big deal, but you do gotta buy a special tool for it to get the water separator sensor removed, which that's annoying. But you see that tube right there? That is the engine fuel filter drain tube, which, hey, they put a drain tube on it right on top of the axle. It's like, why would we put it right there? How come we can't put it over here, attach it to the frame, and have a tube hang out right here so we can just open the valve and bleed it out? No. So now I have to go up in there, change that tube out so it drains out not on top of the axle. And then let's go to top side and I'll show you where that filter is. Now here's where we're top side again, and here's that same filter from the top side. And if you have anything like mine, you know, I'm 37's leveled, but the truck is pretty tall. I mean, I'm 6 foot and the bottom of the hood's like chest level. You have to see that is the filter right there. So for order to me to get to that, I have to get a ladder out and reach down in there and have to get a socket on it. So a lot of guys actually unplug this right here to unplug it and get it taken out. If you remember my 6.4 videos on changing a fuel filter on a 6.4, something that is that's 5 pounds in a, no, was it, that's 10 pounds on a 5-pound sack, right? There's a lot of room underneath this engine bay because it's an inline, and it is a pain in the ass to work on. I know I can't believe I'm about to say this. I'd rather change the filters on my 6.4 than on this 6.7 Cummins, but I would not change the engine out. I still like the Cummins better. But you have to, you know, pop it off, get it out, drain it down, leak fuel everywhere just to change a fuel filter. And then the second part to this is the oil filter, which it sounds, this is definitely someone that was in an office that's like, I have a great place for this. You don't even have to get underneath the vehicle to do it. You can just do it from the side. Well, in theory it sounds great. In the real world, it's not. That's your oil filter. Just to give you perspective, we're on the passenger side, going through the tire fender. Well, and that's the oil filter right there. Now, what happens when you unscrew an oil filter? Well, oil goes everywhere. Where does that oil go? Well, I'll show you, but we gotta go back underneath the truck. All right, we're back underneath the truck. So you see all that wet area with that funnel thing hanging down? That's where the oil drains to. You're like, hey, you know what? That's actually pretty smart. You could put a bucket under there and catch all the oil, right? Well, wrong, because it sits directly underneath the axle. So when you go to change your oil, you drip oil everywhere. And you can even look on mine. See, I got oil everywhere, and it looks like I had an oil leak, but no, it's just from changing the oil. Not a smart move, but nonetheless, it's in here, so I gotta live with it. So those are the 5 biggest pet peeves I have about this 2016 Ram. Again, I'm not gonna do a pro video to it because I can't just narrow it down to 5 things that I like about this truck. I know with the 6.4, I had like 5 key items, but overall, this truck is a lot better for me than the 6.4 was. I really did like that 6.4, but this thing does everything and some. Since I added these LED fog lights, it's just been so much better. I actually can't really drive them on because I feel like I'm blinding people, and I don't want to do that. But overall, still take this truck again any day of the week. So we're back in the truck. That's it for this video. Hope you guys liked it. Hit that like and subscribe button. Down below in the description, I'll have my email. If you want to reach out to me about anything, go ahead and just send me an email. I usually check it about 3 times a week. So yeah, hope you guys like this video. I'll see you guys on the next one.